Welcome back to Apocalypse and Genesis. Today I thought we could talk about the Vedic concept of Rahu and Ketu. On one level, they are considered shadow planets, like the hidden ones we've been searching for near the sun. On another level, they are the northern and southern nodes of the moon, where the paths of the sun and moon intersect and we get eclipses. Legend has it that there was a war between the gods and demons, and when peace returned, they cooperated to turn the Milky Way, creating Amrita, the nectar of immortality. And one of the demons disguised himself as a god, sitting between the sun and moon, and managed to get a sip. Lord Vishnu, sustainer of the universe, couldn't allow that, so he decapitated the snake. So Rahu, the north node, is considered the head of the serpent, and Ketu is his long tail without a head. However, as both of these mysteries that belong together were now immortal, Lord Vishnu needed to find a spot for them. He placed them in the zodiac opposite each other on a cycle of 18 months per house, traveling retrograde to the planets and stars. By eclipsing the sun and moon twice a year, they create confusion in the darkness. Rahu in the north owns the solar eclipse. He is associated with Saturn and rides the lion or elephant. Ketu in the south owns the lunar eclipse, and here you can see a blood moon early in 2025, which will be the year Rahu and Ketu move from Pisces Virgo to Aquarius Leo. Ketu is associated with Mars or the dog Sirius, and is often pictured with the Matsya avatar emerging from Pisces like Jonah or on a blackbird, suggesting that we are close to the beginnings of the cycle. My particular interest in Rahu and Ketu had nothing to do with their lore in Vedic astrology. To me, they were simply an ancestral memory of the hidden planets that periodically return to light up the sun and flip the world over, delivering yet another population bottleneck to the evolution of humanity. Here you can see that photographing the phantom objects is incredibly difficult. In fact, I find clearer images in the lens artifacts off to the side than I do in the bright objects supposedly in focus. We went through another sign this week. The bone artifact was discovered about a century ago. It reminded me both of the heron due to traverse the first of Aries, first of Virgo axis, and the serpent due to rise there and be captured on the Asherah pole that is the tree of life. Moon occulted Venus on Thursday, marking the sign. Since Sol and Mars both reached the center of Libra yesterday, we have yet another sign of coming judgment. Here we have an Alquelan piece, this one showing that we have reached the time of the Exodus. Sort of explains how space exploration went from top secret government stuff to a global marketplace where anyone with enough cash can go to space and try to avoid the cataclysm. Good luck landing. The other day I was watching one of those programs on UFO UAPs, and it showed Tic Tac UFO submersibles going in and coming out of the ocean. And I was reminded of a prophecy from 2011. In the east of the New World, the pride of the sea will leave and the starving fill the beaches. A gentle shake before terror unleashed, fire from the earth, and they will go into the abyss. I long puzzled over the phrase, the pride of the sea, and then I remembered there was always supposed to be a dragon in the sea, whether you called him Leviathan, Cthulhu, or Penderic. Over the years, we've heard a lot about a pending rapture, the idea that righteous people will fly out of here. And there is a relevant race memory of the Navajo saying that many of their people also flew away. So the story was not invented by Christians. Expect some kind of gravito-electromagnetic anomaly at the time of the eye, the conjunction of the hidden ones. Personally, I like the movie Knowing where only children are invited to safety, possibly in the assumption that the rest of us are just too far corrupted in materialism and violence to make a go of it in the new world. Back in 2014, America of Zechariah 13 received a brief notice of hope. Supposedly, a few nations are willing to take Americans, but we need to get a move on. The deal was expected to end next year. South Africa was highlighted for having turned down the $100 billion deal. They were having serious race relations issues at the time. Attacks on white farmers had taken the place of apartheid. There are groups in America who will want to play the same game when anarchy comes. I wonder if any other nations in the New World Order have said yes in the intervening years to the American offer, and how many of the ones who said yes will actually come through and provide safe haven. According to Herodotus and the histories, the only real safety in the world during pole shift is to be found in the Mediterranean. So that area is very likely to see World War III in the very near future. See the Pike and Mazzini letters. To my knowledge, the only other factual sign of a pending doomsday that made the news for a millisecond was a study over at Deagle.com where analysts were projecting where the arms industry could scoop up trillions of dollars for the foreseeable future. And rather than assume the New World Order will be a peaceful place, they looked at some future cataclysm wiping out North America and Western Europe, and then made their best guess as to where the money would remain for the future of warfare. To me, it's pretty obvious that the reigning assumption is that humanity will not be rid of the empire that runs the banks and the defense industries and the health system and the media and Hollywood. So the face of oppression is allowed to change, but the people who survive are basically still here to be fleeced. Did the Cossack and the farmer do any better under the communists than they did under the Tsar? Not in the least. Pompous nobles were replaced by a greedy nomenclatura, and when the robots with the social scores come to town, I doubt if anyone will have the money to spend. Barring galactic intervention, it will just be another way to centralize the wealth. The eternal promise, of course, is that help is on the way, a new incarnation of the Moshiach ben Yosef and the Moshiach ben David, a return of Elijah and Moses, the arrival of the Kalki avatar. And it remains to be seen exactly how a new heavenly leadership translates into happily ever after for the people of Earth, or even the ones flying away. The thing to remember, I think, is that humanity has been down this road before. The war, the famine, rapacious governments, manufactured diseases and fake cures, with money and inflation for all. Nothing has changed since the empire arrived several creations back. There was always a megalomaniac in the wings offering to solve our problems for a shot at the treasury, always a radical high priest ready to reform the gospel truth to match our expectations. The heaven and hell proffered are yet another iteration of what we've been through. And when they offer you eternal life by getting wired in and your genes tweaked, please think about it long and hard. Imagine an opportunity to do exactly this for freaking ever, and whether that translates into a somehow comforting idea. Jesus and John talked about this time in paradox. Jesus said, "Whosoever will save his life shall lose it, but whosoever shall lose his life for my sake and the gospel's, the same shall save it." And John's statement was even more mysterious. "He that loveth his life shall lose it, and he that hateth his life in this world shall keep it unto life eternal." What did that mean? Shem will bless you and keep you now and forever. Take care.